Good afternoon. My name is Alex. I'm here with Michiel, and this afternoon we're going to go through the new Mark II RS500. So, Michiel, what do you think? What's your first looks?
Well, I'm quite excited about it. Together with the class, we've been working through all the improvements the boat could have after all these many years of success of the class, and I think the result is just incredible. So yeah, I like to walk through with you on what changes are made. Shall we start at the front? Is that a good idea?
I think probably one of the most important things that people want to know is it still a 500? And obviously from our point of view, you know, it's very important that people understand everything about this is very much a 500. What we did to ensure that is we had to 3D scan the old molds to making sure that the underwater profile was exactly just the same, and then we 3D scanned then the deck.
You want to meet one of Britain's top Olympic sailors. She's got a gold medal and a silver medal. She's got them with her. You want to come and ask her some questions, maybe see her medals, have a picture with them. Head over to the Sailors' Corner now. Saskia Clark is here talking to us about her Olympic sailing experiences, and she's very friendly, happy to answer any of your questions. That's the Sailors' Corner.
Oh, she can talk. So once we had that information, what we then were able to do is re-engineer the tooling. So I'm 100% sure from a hull point of view, it's exactly the same as the original boat, because it has to be. It's a one design boat. So when we're looking at the deck, the great thing about CAD nowadays is we can listen to the sailors, we can hear on board potentially over the last 10 years of the 500, there were always things that maybe we want to improve on, but not change the way the boat's being used. And so that's something that we are able to do that, and we've done that very successfully with other boats that we've done, like the 200. So keeping the style the same is really important. People need to realise it's still a 500, and I think if you look at it, you can instantly look at it and realise it's still a 500. So what we've done for all the changes are minor. So if we start at the bow, I wanted to make sure that regarding a spinnaker sock and spinnaker area, we were doing something which looked clean, up to date. It drives me mad when we have to not find solutions to issues, where with the original boat we had to put tape around all around here because people were scared to kind of rip their spinnaker. Well, you know, we can engineer that out, and we've certainly learned with the 200 we can do that. So we're using the same sort of kind of technique here, so we won't need to use tape around there. And also what we're trying to do is do it in a way that every hole that we put in the boat isn't going right the way through, which over the past has made some leaks happen and things like that. So everything is relatively integral. So
and the rig in that way stays the same, right? The forestay is still
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important that we haven't changed a lot. We've changed the bow plate a little bit, just because it gives it a little bit more support. It tidies it all up for the spinnaker. Going down the boat, what we've also done is we put in hatches in the boat, which for quite a few reasons. One, crew can put things in there, you know, the buoyancy aids and bits of food and things like that through events. But what also from a manufacturing point of view, which is in my mind more important to making sure that the quality is good, is we can inspect the boat inside once it's joined together, where beforehand we couldn't do that. So now there are two hatches on both sides to go and do that.
So if you would have a hatch in the old boat,
yes.
What is the difference? What do you see different?
Okay, so one of the biggest differences that we've done is we've converted the internal framing to foam instead of wood. However, it's still got a wood strut underneath the mast, so it keeps the integral strength up, but it also allows us to make something which is stronger, and it won't absorb the water and rot, where previous boats we have had that issue. So from that point of view, that's been a change.
And then it's back on the sleeve here.
Yeah, I just wanted to match up with the sails and make it look more up to date, really. So going down the boat, we put into the mould the little kind of ramp here. Before that, we had a wedge. Going down the case, we've redesigned the stirrups, so they are more integral in part of the case, so they won't necessarily rock and have issues. Well, I think it would be fair to say that it is one of those areas where we could have done some improving on, which we have. And then going down the boat, the other big thing that we've done is we put in a recess for the non-slip. As standard, it doesn't come with this. Underneath this is non-slip, so if you wanted just to have a non-slipped boat, you can do, but if you wanted to have this pro grip on it, I think it gives it a really nice touch and feel. And then coming down...
I like this as well. Alex.
Yeah, sure.
So what many sailors probably have felt is that if you, especially after jibing, is that people are touching their legs to the hull. And
Yes.
With the nice grip in the middle, that's totally sorted now.
Yeah, and also we made that a bit narrower. On the original boat, it was a bit wider. We wanted to try and get the helm to be a little bit more cleaner going through the boat. So I think from that point of view, that's the reason why we made it a bit lower, a bit narrower. It's still a good kick bar. So then coming through the boat, one of the things that we wanted to do is try and keep the boat made in the UK or in the European kind of area, and to do that, before that the boat's been made in China, in Thailand, and obviously we needed to build out some costs to keep the cost point relative. Yeah. So one of the things that we've done, which was very expensive to do, was we had drain tubes going out through the back, which were really kind of just for labour intensive to make. Mm-hmm. So what we've now done is we've used the same hardware as the Aero, and we've put those in, and I think in reality the boat will clear the water through the boat will clear out really super fast. It's designed in a way that your main sheet won't go out through the back hole.
Because that is something that we got a lot of feedback on, that our sailors are, when the main sheet is out, it's hard to get it back in, and that's all sorted now. Yeah,
exactly. So those sorts of things, though, are small but make a big difference of owning the boat. So then going back down the boat, we've also put in the horse into the deck. As you can see beforehand, it used to go through the deck and the hull. We used to have issues with kind of leaks in that area. So again, everything that we're trying to do is improve the enjoyment for the customer, making sure that the product lasts as long as we can.
And I now see a couple of Harken blocks on there as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Standard?
That is standard now. So with the 500, this is a standard boat. It's got Harken as standard, and the other thing that we've got is the new rudder stock and the extension which we use now on all the other boats. I think it's a really nice touch. What's great about that is it allows you to rotate the rudder all the way up. So when you're launching, I'm sure you kind of know exactly what I mean, is when you launch, there's nothing worse that your blade is kind of at the wrong angle and you hit it and things like that. So we kind of solved that there. And then the last thing is the sails. And I mean, this has obviously got to still go to a class vote, but what we have here is the same material, the same design cut as the original. So we haven't kind of changed how it's going to perform. What we have changed is the material. It is a more advanced material. From a cost point of view, we kind of kept it relatively cost neutral, which is great, but it will last longer, and I think it looks fantastic. So I think from that point of view, it really does kind of make the boat look really sharp. So, and then the other thing that we've got on the boat, which again has to go to vote, and maybe you might want to explain it a little bit more, is the off-the-boom sheeting. So that's something which the class wants to have a look at and go into it. But perhaps, Michiel, it'd be good for you just to run through that.
Yeah, I think it's indeed important to say that, because we went through this process together with the class, and the class had a technical committee, and we have walked through plenty of options of changes, and there's always a lot of things that people like to have on their boat and some people don't like, and there's discussions. And last year during the AGM of the class there was quite a big hands up for getting sheeting from the boom as a possibility in the class rules, which is currently not allowed. And I think looking at modern classes and also looking at how, for example, the RS500 class has taken that on and how successful that is, and also in the RS500 class, the hands up for that were quite big. So so you see, it also looks quite a lot cleaner without the cleat in the cockpit, and it's just an option. And if you want to keep on sailing with the cleat there, it can be easily added, but it's not a need. And I think there's not a big advantage for sailors, but it's a nice to have, and it aligns with other classes, modern classes, and modern way of sailing. Crew and helm roles are changing, and well, the class is taking that on. It needs to go to vote, and it will go to vote this year, but we are confident that the class goes that way. And I think that's the only thing that needs changing language in the class rules. All the other updates that we've done, you cannot find any wording in the class rules that needs changing, but we will go to the class asking, are you agreeing with all these great upgrades?
And I think that's a really important and a valid point of view here. Is what we are doing here is, one, design boats do need to evolve in some shape or form, otherwise they date. And new things do come out, but it's how they evolve is really important. And I think it'd be fair to say we've got huge bits of experience of evolving that. We've done that with the 200, we've done it with the 800, and we've done it with the 500. But I think everything that is really important when we do this, we can't change the DNA of the boat. You know, it still needs to be a 500, and from that point of view, I believe we have done that. But we've just brought things a little bit more up to date, and I think because of that, the boat looks absolutely fantastic.
And I think after all, it's going to be a great injection of the class, and there's probably some more movements going on. Maybe some people buy a new boat and part exchange their old boat, so it will help the class growing in areas in all Europe, and that's only good, I think.
One last thing that we just need to go through, and maybe is obviously one thing with I did mention it regarding the build, and the build is now actually made in the UK. We are doing this in a way where, in the most sustainable way, we are investing heavily in the way we're doing it with reusable bags and consumables. So I think it's fair to say the whole package of the 500, from start, how we've engineered it, and how it's going to carry on for the future for the class is only going to be for the better.
Yeah, and I think I want to thank you in that way, Alex, for putting all the work in. So well, big thumbs up for that. And well, later this month we will do a test day with the class on all the updates of the boat. Brilliant. So everyone can join.
Excellent. Thanks, Michiel.
Cheers.